Welcome to Life by Design, where we help you to create the blueprint for the life you've always wanted for yourself, your family, and for those of us with even bigger perspectives. This is not just about our families, it's also about our communities and about our nation. Sierra Leone. I'm Joe Abbas, and this is Life by Design. The COVID-19 health crisis has had a disruptive impact on the way people, cities, and the world itself lives and moves. And with the hospitality and mobility being two of the industries that have been most affected by this crisis. As Sierra Leoneans, the question is, are we taking stock? Are we learning anything from what's happening around the world? On today's show, we bring you highlights of some 4 significant COVID lessons I think we must learn and shouldn't miss at all. Lesson number 1 in the COVID crisis is we have to learn how to stay close at a distance. Staying close at a distance, does it make sense? I mean, it's still in turns your head. How can you stay close to a person, but you could do it from a distance? Well, you have to be able to keep the connections you have with people, even though they are remote. They may not be closer to you. How do you increase that and keeping close? It's something we have to learn and we have to master. Because while we've evolved, we've been asked to stay at home, mostly stay at home, and only leave the house for necessity and important stuff that you have to leave. The question is, how can you stay close from a distance? And our markets are still congested. Our streets are still congested. Somebody was telling me that even, Idul Fitri holiday, and you had tons and tons of people on the beach. How did they get there? Well, people are still pushing the boundaries, pushing the envelopes. Religious organizations are pushing for the lifting of the ban on religious gathering. Question, have we put in place the strategies that would ensure we don't jeopardize the health and safety of worshippers so that we do not have to have a big surge in this epidemic? Let me tell you a story. On the 10th of March, 2020, in a choir practice in a church in Mount Vernon, Washington State, United States of America, a super COVID-19 spreader. A super spreader is somebody who has the virus, asymptomatic. They don't even know that they have the virus, but in a short space of time has had access to 15, 20, 30 people. And in this case, this lady went to the church in the choir practice and infected 52 people. In this choir practice that lasted for maybe just about 2.5 hours, and end up killing 2 people in the choir. 52 infected by 1 person. So we have to be careful. We have to still master the skill of learning how to stay close, but at a distance. Again, like I said, it turns your head, but it's a lesson we can learn. Lesson number 1 is how to stay close at a distance. Lesson number 2, be relevant. Lesson number 2, be relevant. Somebody said the best insurance policy you can have at a time like this is the income replacement insurance. You've been earning income this way, and this is how you've been earning your income. And you can now no longer do that to earn income. Your income replacement insurance is not you go to NIC or go to Rich Corp and say, I'm insuring myself in case I lose my income. No, it's having a skill set that helps make you relevant and earn money even in moments of crisis like this. Anybody who has a selling skill can thrive. Because if you're no longer selling one thing, you can sell something else. If you're no longer selling this, you can be selling that. And so just having the skill, it doesn't matter. You change the product, they're able to sell it. If you have those skills, you can thrive. Entrepreneurship skill, an entrepreneur make business out of anything. Can use anything and can look at water, can look at this there, and they are able to generate value that people need that they can sell at a profit. If you have those skills, it's an income replacement insurance because you can always move. The product changes, you change what you're selling. You change your market. You change the person you're selling it to. So if you have skills like this, it helps a lot in moments like this where you have to be relevant. Question, do you have the set of skills that would help you adapt in a crisis period like this? I said just now, entrepreneurs change their products they sell to match the seasons. Unless you have skills and services and products that are relevant for this moment, you have no chance. You will struggle. Even governments and religious organizations are struggling to prove their relevance to their people in times like this. Are you relevant to the present realities of people? So positioning yourself as a solution provider to your community will be your best insurance policy for relevance and economic survival. That's lesson number 2. Be relevant. I'll come back after this break with 2 more lessons for you for this epidemic period. Welcome back, or if you're just joining us, you're watching Life by Design. Today we're talking about 4 lessons we can learn and master during this period of epidemic that will stabilize us and make sure we thrive, we survive and thrive. And first lesson we talked about is learning how to stay close from a distance. Second lesson is being relevant. Lesson number 3, adapt fast. Your ability to adapt fast in a period of crisis like this is super capability that you can have. Because, the COVID-19 pandemic has driven the entire global community into uncharted waters. We're going to places we've never been before. Everybody from governments to companies to individuals, religious organizations have had to deal with a new reality. We just had the whole month of Ramadan at home. And whoever heard about that? Never in my generation. We've never heard about that. And the thing is, those who will survive and thrive in time like this are not the complainers, are not those who grumble. No, why does it have to be this way? Why does it have to be us? Why does it have to be me? Hey God, why did it have to happen? It's a waste of time to be thinking about. The ones who would adapt quicker. It's not the complainers, but the ones who would adapt quicker to the new normal rather than waiting for the old normal to return. Clarence Darrow once said, it's not the strongest of the species that will survive, not the most intelligent, but rather the most adaptable to change. And Charles Darwin is also have been assigned this quote. There's a book I read, and a lot of us would have read that book. It's called Who Moved My Cheese? It's a powerful book. It's about change. And it's talking about 4 ways that people react to change that either holds them back or moves them backward or advance. And the ones that survived the most in the story was the one who was able to adapt to change. The one who was able to notice that things were changing and adapt and take the necessary moves that were required to move forward, not complain about the past, and wish you could go back to when things were 3 cup 10 shilling for rice in Sierra Leone when you had the railway. It's a waste of time. Similar lessons need to be learned at this point in time. We have to be able to master and adapt, master our ability to adapt to change. At Life by Design, we have had to change significantly how we conduct our interviews. Even the content of the program have changed. You must have noticed over the last couple of weeks. We do Zoom online interviews. We have introduced a new segment that we call Business by Design. And as a continued response to being relevant, that's why we're doing that. We're now making that segment an entirely new program, which we call Business by Design. And content creation is ongoing now for this. It will be launched in July. So this is a challenge. Adapt so that you can be relevant, or stay inactive, stay where you are, and refusing to change and become obsolete and become a victim of the system and the environment. When we come back, we'll talk about lesson number 4. Welcome back. You're watching Life by Design, and today we're talking about 4 lessons, pivotal lessons we can learn from this COVID-19 crisis. We've talked about the need to learn how to stay close from a distance, learn how to be relevant, and learn how to adapt. Before we talk about the 4th and final lesson for this broadcast, I want to announce a unique opportunity that we're creating at Life by Design for individuals and corporate organizations that we call Social Impact Angels. Social Impact Angels is a new, stuff we're releasing, we're announcing to the public. What is this about? Well, big question, but we'll come into you, reaching out to you very soon. If you are a partner, individuals that are out there, we've got you earmarked. We'll share with you what Social Impact Angels is about. Now, let's talk about lesson 4, a fourth lesson that we should learn in a time like this. And this is a lesson. Remote working should now be an always-on option, not just a reactive solution. Working remotely has to be on the table. Having meetings remotely has to be on table whenever you're now talking about meeting with people, connecting with people. You don't have to, I can't tell you the number of people who are still waiting for me to meet them face to face. At a time like this, even when you tell them, no, can we have a video call? And somebody actually felt it was demeaning to him for me not to want to hold a face-to-face meeting, but to ask for a video call. It's a new mindset. It's a new journey. This is where the world is going. This is where COVID has taken us to. We have to be prepared to now have even meetings with our parents. That's why I said, you stay in close in touch, but remotely. We have to be able to master that and making it part of our lives. So we have to invest in remote working tools and processes for effective continuity of our evolving world. If you are in offices, whether you're government, NGOs, MDAs, schools, and even religious organizations. Now, obviously, you had the news the other day. There was something on social media about there's a state opening of parliament, but it was a virtual state opening. They shared the link with people so that they could keep the parliament building less crowded, so that they would have enough social distance. People can watch from their homes and wherever they are, and pushing people away. It's the new normal. That's the way the world is going, and the world may never go back completely to where it's coming from. So we have to devote our attention to developing the resources for this option, because it's always going to be there. I have another story about a bank, maybe the central bank, that is operating on a 2-week on, 2-week off for their staff. So they've divided their staff into 2, and the whole set works this 2 week. Another set works this next 2 week. And in case something happens, they know it's this set that was in office, there's an infection or something, then the entire set can be quarantined for 2 weeks. They would know, they can contact trace, they can do everything, whilst the set that was home can come to work. You see how sensible it is? This is the new normal. What about Facebook? Facebook, yes. Mark Zuckerberg also has offered his staff the opportunity to work from home on a permanent basis, which gives the employee the chance to relocate. Obviously, their salaries would have to be adjusted, because Silicon Valley, where they're working now, is very, very expensive. So if they're moving to areas where it's less expensive, and they would have to adjust their cost, their salaries according to their cost of living. And listen to this. Zuckerberg expects 50%, half of its staff, to take up this offer, to work from home permanently over the period of 5 to 10 years. And obviously, we say it's technology-related job. We should create those jobs here, because there's nothing stopping a lot of the services that we're doing now to be done online. Half of the thing that NRA is doing is to be able to make sure you don't have to even leave your house to pay taxes. You don't have to leave your house to register your company. You don't have to leave your house for a lot of things. We've done a lot of stuff, but this is where we are going. That's the fourth lesson for you, and I hope we have that to heart.
Fresh air, clean environment, great atmosphere. D&S Fastmart, we have the most competitive prices, the place for quality and trusted grocery brands, well-stocked shelves with top-of-the-range wine and spirits, chilled drinks and snacks, toiletries, and even lubricants for your vehicles. At D&S Fastmart, all payment systems are available. D&S Fastmart, the right choice for the enlightened shopper. D&S Fastmart, Total Petrol Station, Brookfield. We've got the tick.